Moto E is about to get underway for its second race of the day here at Balaton Park in Hungary. This morning featured a nasty accident and a very scary run. For more info, we'll turn over to the world feed.
Sprint Saturday is almost over at Balaton Park in Hungary, but we've still got one last treat in store for you. Moto E Race 2. The first one went down to the last lap, and now with a full distance of racing, who knows what's in store as we close off the penultimate day of action in Hungary and start the second half of 2025 in Moto E. Thanks for staying with us. We promise you it will be worth it. And if you've missed the rest of the action and you're just joining for Moto E, welcome. It's great to have you on board. We've already had one Moto E race and now we're gearing up for race 2. You're in the company of myself, Kiko Giles, and Neil Morrison alongside me trackside and in commentary, as well as Elliot York, who is down there in pit lane. Neil, race 1 was red flagged for an incident involving Tibor Erik Varga, who has since been taken to hospital for further examination but was reported conscious trackside. This race will be different. We have had a small reduction in laps from 8 to 7, but really, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're all good to go and there's no incidents in this one.
Yeah, that is the hope. We were, I think, quite lucky with how today went in race 1. We could have had a very serious incident, but glad to report that Tibor Erik Varga is doing relatively okay after that horrible shunt in race 1. And yeah, what we saw afterwards was a pretty close and interesting race for victory between 4 different riders, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see those same 4 riders fighting up towards the front once again in this race 2.
It was a very, very tense fight all the way to the end, but in the end it wasn't really what we hoped for. We were hoping that Lorenzo Baldassari could at least land one punch on Mattia Casadei just to make it interesting, but Mattia Casadei overcame adversity which happened in the first part of that race when he had to take a race of action for the stricken Tibor Erik Varga. Restarted, came back stronger, took victory and a big step in towards title contention. He moved up into second place overall, 3 points down on Andrea Mantovani, who will just be thinking about leaving Hungary. It has been a disastrous weekend for our Assen winner and our championship leader here in Moto E.
Yeah, you have to imagine Mantovani is going to cede the championship lead at the end of this race, starting well back in the grid in 14th, because this rider here, Casadei, really is on a bit of a roll here in Hungary. He is close to within 3 points of the championship lead. And you were saying, Kiko, halfway stage of the championship now. We have 7 rounds, 14 races, we've had 7 so far, and we have 4 riders covered by just 5 points in the championship. It is nice and tight up at the top in Moto E.
It really is. I think this is one of the closest top 4 we've seen in the championship standings for quite some while, and it can still go any which way. Mattia Casadei is your pole sitter and looking to double up, but Lorenzo Baldassari was mightily close and quick in race 1 earlier today. He's starting from his best ever qualifying position, so keep an eye on the number 7. Elliot York has got someone lined up for us. El, down to you on the grid.
I'm with Matteo Ferrari. Matteo, P4 in race 1. How are you feeling ahead of race 2, and what do you think you can happen? What do you think you can do, sorry, in this race?
Yeah, it was a really strange first race. After the red flag, only 4 laps, so we recover some position. We have a good race pace, so we have to stay focused. It's very difficult to overtake in this track, but we recover one row for this race, so it will be important the first lap to recover a little bit more compared to race 1. And nothing. I'm happy about the setup of the bike. I'm happy about all, so keep focused and stay strong.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Matteo Ferrari, double winner last time out. He'll be looking to try and make amends from that second row of the grid. Now, of course, he's bumped up 1 place due to Tibor Erik Varga's absence. We had Eric Granado who completed the front row. Nicola Spinelli is flying the Riva Cold Snipers flag. He starts 4th.
does indeed. And Spinelli had an okay race one without doing anything spectacular. Sixth place he was at the end of race one. Sorry, my attention was grabbed there by that gentleman ingesting that burger rather enthusiastically there in the crowd. Great to see so many fans sticking around to see race two as we look at Alessandro Zacconi. Zacconi was just on the outside of that victory fight in race one, and you have to imagine with a decent start he could be right in the mix in this one coming out.
Indeed, Alessandro Zacconi is always right there or thereabouts. The thing for all of this grid is getting through turns 1 and 2 so cleanly. We have seen it so far that really this track can be tricky. Moto, he managed it earlier. Moto GP, it was a different kettle of fish. So turns 1 and 2, they are a nightmare here, particularly if you're coming through the pack, Neil. That's something why qualifying was so important yesterday, and that's why Matteo Ferrari is one of the big winners, actually, of Tibor Eric Varga's absence on the grid, because he moves up from the 3rd row to the back of the 6th row. That's crucial.
Yeah, 6th place, inside of the 2nd row, gunning down towards turn 1. That is not a bad position to be in for Matteo Ferrari. So let's see if he can build on a strong 4th place from race 1 when he jumped up 3 positions. After imagine he'll be in the victory fight once again.
Jordi Torres back as well after that big race 1 fall over at turn 7. He was scuffed up. The bike was pretty badly damaged, but thankfully he was completely fine. And Jordi Torres going from the head of that 3rd row. Will he be able to convert anything special here in race 2, Neil?
Yeah, he will have missed out on crucial experience in race 1, though, after a fast old crash at turn number 7. Actually had a separate incident with Luca Bernardi, who was just up ahead of him. Both were very, very lucky to come away unscathed, but good to see Jordi back on the grid for race 2.
Jacopo Hosjuk in the middle of that 3rd row, and what a story it would have been if he could have bagged that top 6 he was chasing earlier on today. He gets another stab at it this time around.
Yeah, he was on for a best result in Moto E before he crashed. Maybe a top 6 finish, but it didn't quite come to pass as he crashed out down at turn 2.
Let's just before we go down to Elliot York, bring you some race direction information. El's got an update for us, but we'll come to that in a moment. 7 laps for this one. Moto E race 2. Mattia Casadei aiming to double up.
Let's take a look at the starting grid then for this race.
Moto E race 2, Casadei, Baldassarre, Granado. The front row is the only row of the grid that does not change for race 2. Nicola Spinelli heads off Zacconi and Matteo Ferrari on the 2nd row. Torres, Hosjuk and number 19, Luca Bernardi, moving up to that 3rd row of the grid for the Aruba Cloud Moto E team. The 4th row features our defending champion Hector Garza, a double podium finisher last time out in Austria. He really has not gelled with Balaton Park. Kevin Zanoni and Oscar Gutierrez complete that 4th row. The 5th one is Alessio Finello ahead of championship leader Mantovani, which is again in damage limitation mode. Raffaele Fusco rounds out the 5th row. Maria Herrera and Tommaso Occhi completing the grid. Just before we go green, Elliot York, what have you got?
Yeah, just caught up with Jürgen Ling, the Dynaval Intact GP team manager. Asked if any changes were made to Baldassarre's setup on the bike. He said no, he's feeling really, really good and confident for this one. So with that, he's going to be my pick for race 2 winner. Gents, over to you.
Well, we didn't actually ask for a prediction. I'm not sure that one's going to count, unfortunately, for Elliot York. You've got to be asked first, but we'll allow it to slide away this one time. I am going to go Eric Granado. I think the Brazilian chasing his first win of the season. He has got the pace. It's whether he gets the start, Neil. What about you?
Yeah, it's hard to look past the race 1 winner and the pole sitter, Mattia Casadei, after his performance earlier today. So I'm going to go for him. And just before we get underway, Kiko, everyone that watched race 1 obviously very concerned with the condition of Tibor Eric Varga. We have had word that he is actually back at the track now, which is fantastic news, and goes to show that his injury is nothing too serious. So really, really thankful for that.
Ready to go then here as well for Moto E and race number 2 of the day. Rare that I actually get to cover a second race of Moto E. We're used to doing something else, so I shall enjoy it as we get ready to go then. 30 seconds until lights out.
The grid soon at Tibor Eric Varga. Just before we go green on this one, as I said, 7 laps, not 8, but it is 3 more than what we managed earlier on. Lorenzo Baldassarre, Neil, Is he going to be able to add his name to the winners list? None of us have backed him, but, well, apart from Elliot down in pit lane, but I mean, none of us up here in comms. Do you think he can do it?
I do, I really do, yeah. The way he hunted down Cassidy in the final laps of race 1, yes, it was only 4 laps long, but Baldassarri was certainly the faster.
He was indeed the faster. Here we go then. 7 laps ahead of us. That's going to be the distance today. It will be eyes to the lights, and then we will all be going. 7 laps ahead of us. The Moto-E race at Balaton Park. Lights on. Lights out, we're underway. It's a good start coming from Cassidy. Baldassarri goes with him down towards turn 1. Spinelli looking through on the inside. Last of the lane breakers as we throw it on the inside line. Cassidy's going to get wiped out here. Into the lead goes Baldassarri. Taking second position comes Nicola Spinelli. Cassidy holds on round the outside line coming through turn 2. Retakes second position. Baldassarri leads. Cassidy second. Spinelli in third. Then it's into Eric Granado in fourth. Matteo Cassidy is in a bit of a trouble exiting as well because he's going to have Spinelli all the way with him as Tomasano has dropped all the way into the rear of the field. Granado's under a bit of attack as well, coming from Matteo Ferrari. Brilliant start from Ferrari, brilliant start from Hector Garza, 3 places on the start here. Baldassarri is under a bit of pressure here because we've got Cassidy side by side trying to go on the inside line, coming into the braking zone for the chicane. That's going to be tight. Stays behind. Raffaele Fusco drops back. And so far, everyone making it through the opening corners and the opening lap safely. That's the most important factor. We've had a couple of nasty accidents in Moto-E this year. We don't want any more as we head on down the back straight now into the second chicane areas through 12 and 13. Switchback working nicely. Baldassarri leading. Cassidy is in second. Cassidy's going to have a little bit of a run though, coming down towards the final 2 into 15 and 16 chicane. Baldassarri going a little bit too deep. Cassidy's going to try and get the exit speed as well to line up for an overtake coming out. Have they got the traction? That's the question. And the speed. Yeah, I think he might do over the line. Baldassarri leads. Cassidy's going to the inside line towards the first corner. Cassidy goes low on the brakes, but can't do it. Later was Baldassarri. He takes the lead. Ferrari trying to swing round the outside as well. Still can't find the traction or the go points. Lap 2 of 7. And a battle brewing and a half here for the race lead.
Ferrari and Eric Granado is joining an Italian 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Brazilian in 5th.
Yes, it's slightly surprising to see Alessandro Zacconi back there in 6th, half a second back of 5th place. And once again, Cassidy looking so close to Baldassarri in the braking zone. They all do remarkably well as they stay in line for now. Zacconi, you can see just back there in 6th place, not quite on the back of this victory fight, which is, as Kiko said, a 10-wheeler. 5 riders contesting victory as it stands. And Hector Garza having a much better ride here, more competitive. He's just back of Zacconi in 7th.
Indeed. I tell you what, this group is actually starting to join up with those behind. Zacconi and Garza kind of bridging it. That gap now is back to Jacopo Hosiuk, who is in 8th place. Oh, that's tight. Cassidy looking up the inside of Baldassarri at turn 11. That's where the long lap is. So if anyone does anything a little bit out of the rule book or indeed a little bit too aggressively, well, that's where they're going to end up. That's down at the long lap, turn 11. 12 and 13, the chicane. We're looking at Jacopo Hosiuk. That's coming through 13. This is the flick through the left at 14. Really important section this because you carry the speed all the way down and you can try and make a pass into turn 15 like Granado was looking at doing and has done at the expense of Matteo Ferrari, who gets shoved out wide and onto the marbles. Granado making up 1 place from what has been a sluggish opening couple of laps here in the Balaton Park circuit.
Yeah, good stuff from Granado, but you can see how much time both he and Ferrari lost as Cassidy comes across the line after setting the fastest lap of the race. He's so late in the brakes, but Baldassarri just lets the brakes off and goes in even deeper. And look at this from Hector Garza now, climbing up into 6th ahead of Zacconi.
Oh, and down in the background, that was Oscar Gutierrez.
Yeah, Gutierrez has crashed out. Oscar Gutierrez is down in the first corner, just dropped the front. So he's out of the race. Cassidy has been given a track limits warning now from race control. They'll pick the bike up. Maybe Gutierrez can restart. If we can restart the bike, just flick some switches, the battery should kick back into gear. But Gutierrez we're down to, well, maybe 16. 17 if he can restart. He hasn't moved yet on my timing monitor, so we'll keep you updated with that one. Cassidy with that track limits warning as well. Gutierrez has rejoined the race. Granado and Bernaldi as well also have now the track limits warning flashing up on my screen. You'll see them shortly yourself on the timing monitors here in the comms box. Lap 3 of 7. Baldassarri still leading the race by quite a margin, which I'm very, very excited to see happening. Because the one thing we need here is a little bit of a oomph moment in this race. Otherwise, we're going to be in a load of trouble. Still, Baldassarri leading the race. Cassidy, Spinelli, Granado, look at Zarconia down 2 places. Gap as it stands, Baldassarri will take the lead of the championship over Matteo Cassidy by 3 points. Mantovani, who led by 3, would now drop down by 14 points. That's how insane this battle is at the moment.
Languishing somewhat down here in 10th place. He's on for 6 World Championship points as it stands as we drop anchor into turn 1 for the next time around.
Lap 4.
Yeah, absolutely. Cassidy not quite as close coming down towards turn 1 on this occasion. As you can see, the fastest lap of the race was set by Hector Garzo. He is a rider who is really on a roll, but really very little to choose between the lap times of any of the top 6. Probably a 1/10 of a second variation between all 6 riders, which goes to show you just how evenly matched they are at this midpoint of the race. Garzo trying a bit of an outside line, a little unconventional there, trying to mix it up as he moves to try and get by Matteo Ferrari just up ahead.
Ronaldo with a track limits warning, so the LCR E-team machines are both
Cassie's
now
twitching.
playing with fire in the last 3.5 laps of race 2 here.
Absolutely, and Cassidy is always so close to Baldassarri, just up ahead through these 2 fast rights, and then we're on the anchors down into turn number 9. Cassidy makes me nervous as he gets the rear wheel skating around, and you can see Spinelli closing in on 3rd. Cassidy, is he just trying to work out his compatriot up ahead, or is he absolutely on the limit to try and stay with him?
Oh, Ferrari was just slightly offline then, and Hector Garzo was like a rat up a drain pipe trying to come through. Couldn't quite get it done, I think, or did he? We'll find out in a moment if they flash through shot. He's got it done now, so Garzo muscles his way through. But Matteo Ferrari was just slightly offline. He left an inch, and Hector Garzo, he's a defending champion for a reason, took an absolute country mile here. Oh, change at the front. That is Cassidy trying to come through on Baldassarri. He's going to be offline for 16. Does he leave himself vulnerable? No, he gathers out very well indeed. And in the background, Ferrari's got back ahead of Hector Garzo. So all change on lap 4 as they go into the last 3 laps of this Motor E race.
Yeah, and the fastest lap coming in for Eric Granado. That will no doubt have helped him, the change of lead up front, because it's bunched Spinelli up onto the rear wheel of Baldassarri in 3rd, and Granado now has got less than 4/10 of a second. You would say he's right with Spinelli just behind. Suddenly, the Brazilian is right back in the mix.
You get the impression that perhaps Lorenzo Baldassarri was just bunching this pack up a little bit, and Matteo Cassidy has decided to go for it and try and stretch these front 4 riders out a little bit. If Baldassarri wants a realistic chance of striking back, it has to be soon. He has to stop Matteo Cassidy's flow, and it's going to be a problem when there's a 29 Riva Colt Snipers machine bouncing up the inside at turn 5. Good move from Nicolas Spinelli, who now has his target set on Cassidy, your leader. Baldassarri, bit of a moment coming through 7. This is the kink at 8, and Eric Granado, well, he's not going to pull a punch coming through on the rookie number 7 Baldassarri, but down into the chicane at 9 and 10 this time around, it's all the status quo.
Yep. Baldassarri suddenly on the ropes. He might be on the defensive soon with Eric Granado just behind. Just a reminder that yesterday in practice, Matteo Cassidy was 6/10 of a second faster than anyone else in the practice session for this Moto E category, which goes to show that when he put the hammer down, he really did have a bit of an edge over everyone else in this field.
Through the chicane as we take stock of this race 2, it is now a definite gap between the top 4 and back to Ferrari. That's just over 7/10 of a second, as you can see on the live.
Yeah, well, with lap times coming through then as well, with who's going where and when, let's take a look at this race control messages chart that we've got in front of us. Look at the running order as well. Cassidy bouncing back after a bad couple of laps. Spinelli up into 2nd position. Status quo at the moment coming through as well for Matteo Ferrari. Moved back up a position from where he started. It's been absolutely fantastic. So really is a smooth race. We start lap 6 of 7.
2 laps to go. I thought Cassidy He's maybe going to break the back of Spinelli's challenge last time around, but his compatriot has managed to close within 0.3 of a second as they start the penultimate circuit.
Casadei is very strong coming out of that first couple of corners. He looks like he's got it hooked up very well indeed, and the others pretty much matching him throughout the rest of the lap. But the thing is that they're giving themselves a little bit too much work to do. We've seen Spinelli unstrong at turn 5 before. That's where he made the move on Baldassarri. I held my breath just for a moment there. He did manage to get it gathered up and closing a little bit on Matteo Casadei, but not enough.
Yeah, the two riders that are really on the charge are Matteo Ferrari and Hector Garza. They're about 2 to 3 tenths of a second faster than the leaders at this current time, but I think they're just going to run out of time in their push to make a late play for the podium here.
Unless Baldassarri continues to fade and him and Granado have any kinds of run-ins here, it looks like the top two are starting to break away as well. Casadei and Spinelli are going away. Half a second now is the gap between both of them, and then it's Lorenzo Baldassarri as we take a look back through the pack. The top 8 all in shot, and I can tell you Andrea Mantovani, championship leader coming into this one, has now got ahead of Zanoni, and the number 9 is in P9. Oh, Spinelli makes me nervous under braking. He's got that thing crossed up, but it seems to be working for him for the moment. Coming through 17 then for the penultimate time, and then we will start the last lap here at Balaton Park in Hungary, and we will have the last lap decider in race 2 in Moto E. It's side by side for P4. Matteo Ferrari is going to make an attack here on Eric Granado. He left it late, he's managed to get it done. Eric Granado's got no response there, so now Ferrari just one place away from Lorenzo Baldassarri and a podium position.
Yeah, all of the top 6 just set personal best lap times the last time around, so they are just getting faster and faster as this race progresses. Ferrari making a late play for the podium here, but I do think Spinelli is the only rider that can influence Matteo Casadei, and whether he wins the race. Casadei has a nice healthy 0.4 of a second advantage.
Wow, Ferrari dive bombing the inside line and takes over where Baldassarri was. Now it's all changed over. So now Ferrari's going to get back ahead, but Baldassarri switches in and he's got a track limits warning. So Baldassarri with the warning on the monitor. Spinelli's going for the race lead. Ferrari's diving on the inside line, and Ferrari takes 4th position. So Ferrari now takes 3rd position ahead of Baldassarri. Ferrari moves up, but is Cassidy going to be the race winner here at Balaton Park? Zarcone has got ahead of Eric Granado as well. Into the last few corners then. It has been an absolute domination from Matteo Cassidy. Right where he was in race 1, he'll take race 2 back as well. He'll double up. Still 3rd for Matteo Ferrari, an impressive run up the order. The checkered flag is out. It is ready. Matteo Cassidy back from race 1 to race 2. He doubles up at Balaton Park. Spinelli in 2nd. Ferrari 3rd. Ahead of Baldassarri, Garza, Zarcone, Granado. What a race here for Moto E. A good 10 laps of racing across the 2. But thankfully everyone's okay. What a race. Cassidy wins again.
Place goes to Andrea Mantovani, who is relinquishing his championship lead. Kevin Zanoni completes the top 10, but a flawless ride for Matteo Casadei, who struck at the right moment and has stuck it onto the top step of the rostrum.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Casadei. That is what, his 3rd victory of the year, the only rider in Moto E in 2025 that has won that many races. In fact, the only rider, apart from Matteo Ferrari, who's won more than one. So super stuff from Casadei, and from the depths of despair in race 1 in Austria when he crashed out of victory contention, he has bounced back in really fine style here in Hungary to not just take double victory, but as you said, Kiko, to retake the championship lead when it was looking fairly bleak for him just run round to go. So brilliant stuff from Casadei, and he controlled that race to absolute perfection. Sat behind Baldassarri, watched where he was strong, where he was weak, made his attack, and then managed to stretch the field apart in the final couple of laps.
Good to see as well Nicolas Spinelli back on the podium, and that is going to give the Rivacol Snipers Moto E team something to smile about. It's been a very difficult day for them, of course, with Tibor Erik Varga crashing out of his home round and not taking part in race 2. But Nicolas Spinelli's return to the rostrum has a big meaning for it here today.
Yeah, really is good to see Spinelli back on the box. He was looking like a champion and waiting at certain points last year before his form completely deserted him in the second half of the season, but that was a lot more like the Nicola Spinelli that won 3 of the first 4 Moto E races in 2024. And yeah, the way he disposed with Lorenzo Baldassarri and put some really nice, aggressive but clean moves on some of his compatriots was quite impressive. Here was the move for third on that final lap. Lovely stuff from Ferrari down into turn 5.
Yeah, and he had to work hard for it though after this, didn't he? Baldassarri was never ever going to give that one up, and this was the actual P3 winning overtake. Ferrari up the inside and gets the job done. Lovely. Was one liquid moly machine goes backwards, the other one is coming forwards because Garzo makes his move up into P5 as well, and let's see exactly what happened. I think Garzo actually just had a moment on his own and Granado had nowhere to go there. That was the battle for 5th, but they couldn't get anywhere near the 40 of Casadei up front, could they?
Yeah, I don't know how Granado managed to stay up, because it looked as though Garzo just had to check a little bit with the riders up ahead slowing after Ferrari's pass, and in turn he had to slow, which caused Granado to pick up. Somehow they all made it through. I'm glad to say that that top 7, just covered by 3 seconds at the checkered flag, all made it home. So fantastic stuff, and what a day for Italy it has been here in Moto E. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 6th. 5 riders in the top 6, Kiko, is not bad going, I would say.
It's not bad going at all, and you look at the championship standings, the top 6 there are all Italians: Casadei, Baldassarri, Mantovani, Zacconi, Ferrari and Spinelli, and then Zanoni is 9th and Finello 14th. Luca Bernardi is actually San Marini, so he doesn't quite count, but he is just ahead of Fusco and Occhi. But we'll give you a full rundown of the championship and all of the stories that are evolving there. I think Mattia Casadei, he's had plenty of pace in 2025. He is the favourite coming into this season for a reason, and now he will have a 14-point advantage going to the next round, and it's only a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, it really is. It is so crucial to strike when the iron is hot in Moto E, especially at this point in the season where the races will start to come in thick and fast. As we mentioned last week, 4 races, 4 rounds in 5 weeks, and if you can time your momentum swing to perfection, you really could go on a run that might see you break clear off your rivals. We've yet to see any rider stamp their authority on the Moto E World Championship so far this year, but Mattia Casadei might be threatening to do it going towards Catalunya in 2 weeks' time. 14
points is not an insurmountable margin, but it is one that when the rider behind you has yet to win his first race in Moto E, the next one behind is in bad form over the last couple of rounds. That's Mantovani. Alessandro Zacconi likewise. Matteo Ferrari is the big threat, but he's on 94 points. That's a difference of 22, if I am doing maths correctly.
Beautiful mental arithmetics just there, Kiko. Very impressive stuff.
Get me on countdown. In fact, park that for a moment. Elliot York is down there with P3. Matteo Ferrari, what a comeback.
Matteo, what a last lap that was. 2 riders in one and on the podium after just missing out in race 1. After that double win in Austria, you must be feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling good with bike. At the beginning of the race, I don't know why, but it was difficult for me to push like in the last 3 laps. After some contact, I said, okay, I have to do something different. I take some jolly, you know, but I recover. I did a podium. We did a podium. So when you fight like this, you enjoy a lot. And thanks to my team, because yesterday we did a mistake together. From myself, a little crash, and you know, we recovered a little bit in the qualifying. But today we did a great job. So thank you so much.
Great job, well done.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Great job indeed for Matteo Ferrari, picking up his 3rd podium of the season, and more importantly, his 3rd podium in 4 races after a disastrous start to the year. He really is coming back into form and into championship contention, up to 5th now in the series, and really not a million miles away from the top.
He's still within a race win's worth of points, Neil, and we've seen in Moto E this year that is really all that matters, because mistakes have been being made. But what a podium it is. A first of the season for Nicolas Spinelli as he gets in position. You can see there Elliot York getting ready with those silver headsets on. He's going to be talking to Nicolas Spinelli, P2, admirable given today's circumstances for the Riva Cold Snipers team.
Nicholas, top job. Just didn't quite have enough to get latched onto Mattia, but a great job for the team and yourself to be on the podium in race 2.
Yeah, for sure, the first good race. Just the start, I have problem with this tire. I don't have grip in the front, but in this race, I want to push. It's possible to push in the front, and it's the first race I go to podium in 2025. It's a great result. Thank you for the team because me do a great bike, and for sure we are in the job for the next race.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good stuff from Nicholas Spinelli, and it just goes to show, Neil, that neutral territory and a new ground can bring those kind of results that we've hoped for and that Nicholas Spinelli, quite frankly, needed.
Yep, absolutely. It took a little bit of adaptation coming from Tech 3 team last year, moving across to Snipers, who are new to Moto E in 2025. That was always going to take a little bit of time for their project to cut up to speed, but Spinelli back and looking close to his best, but it wasn't enough to beat his compatriot Mattia Casadei on the top sped of the podium for the second time today, and he's in Park Fermé with L.
Mattia, pole position, race 1 victory and race 2 victory, a perfect weekend here at Balladon Park and the championship lead. Talk us through that battle and the race 2 win.
I'm very happy. I enjoy a lot this weekend. After the contact in race 1, I'm happy because I see that Varga is good, and I push a lot in the second race for try to keep another victory, and we do. It's a special day. I'm very happy. I want to dedicate this weekend to all my team because believe in me a lot and push me to do my best, and I enjoy a lot.
Congratulations, enjoy it.
Thank you.
He enjoyed a lot and we enjoyed watching it. A brilliant, flawless performance from Mattia Casadei. Really is starting to look like the rider that won the 2023 Moto E World Championship with each passing round. And we have to say, Kiko, we have to commend him. He had a really scary moment at the start of race 1, which was eventually red flagged. A bit of contact with Varga, who had a crash. Thankfully, he's okay. But for Casadei to kind of come back from that and put that out of his mind, come back with a double victory, hats off to him.
Fair play, and like I said, Mattia Casadei's had to bury his own demons as well. He's lost a lot of points really from race-winning positions. You think about the first lap in Austria, the last lap over at Assen. He kind of fell apart a little bit in Le Mans as well, gave himself a lot of work to do. So Mattia Casadei, his points absolutely not reflective of what he should have had, but thankfully he did make those mistakes, otherwise he could be clearing off up the road. But Mattia Casadei it is on 116 points now, I can tell you. He's 14 ahead of Balda, and then Mantovani and Zacconi 1 point further back, but tied on points. We are going to get the podium ceremony this time around. Of course, we were a bit tight earlier. We had to get on with Moto 3 coverage for qualifying, so we should be getting the podium, and it's an all-Italian podium, Neil. As you say, this weekend at Balladon Park has been quite memorable, but it's been a memorable season for the Italians in Moto E.
Yeah, it certainly has. Italian whitewash, not just in this race, but in the championship fight as well. And that is a good point, Kiko. It is quite scary to think that Casadei quite easily could have had 50 points more in his championship campaign. And if that was the case, we would be calling him champion already. We would have one hand on the crown. But thankfully, it does appear that we will have a fight that goes all the way to Portimao in November. That will be a new scene to finish and wrap up the championship this year, have to revisit Barcelona and Misano in 2 and 3 weeks' time, respectively.
And the really exciting thing is that next time out in Barcelona in a couple of weeks, it couldn't be more different to this place. They've tested there, they know the track. Most of the riders have grown up as that circuit has been on whatever calendar they've been racing on. So it's not like this time out where it was very much a voyage of discovery. But we're underway with the podium. Ferrari P3, P2 for Spinelli, and Mattia Casadei, a double winner. That's the second round in a row that we've had a double winner, Neil. So perhaps we are getting some order, and it's no surprise that with Casadei in P1 and Ferrari in P5 and closing, that those two names are the ones that really are probably going to ride rise up to be title rivals in 2025.
Yeah, they're the two form names, aren't they, going back through Austria and this weekend as well. Matteo Ferrari lifts the trophy for third position above his head. Third time he's made a podium visit in the last 4. And we have Piero Taramasso handing out the trophy for second place, the head of Michelin's two-wheel motorsport program. We all like Piero, good guy, and handing the trophy for second place to Nicola Spinelli.
I can tell you that the Michelin man on the right-hand side, that's not me. I know what you were thinking, you lot at home.
How can he be in 2 places at once?
Oh, I'm that big, you know. Definitely a face for commentary. We're going to get the Italian national anthem. All 3 of them can claim this one, and Ducati, of course, but it is for the race winner. The Italian national anthem then for Mattia Casadei. Neil, we are back at it in a couple of weeks. The biggest takeaways from 2025 and our debut at Balaton Park in Hungary.
Well, it does seem as though we're starting to get a little bit of order in the championship standings with Moto E after quite a random start to the year. And quite a spread out start. You do feel that there are 2 protagonists that are gradually rising towards the front. In fact, one of them has already risen towards the front, Casadei. And as you say, Kiko, I'm inclined to believe you when you say that Matteo Ferrari could be his chief championship challenger.
We'll have to wait and see next time out. A couple of weeks away, the 5th to the 7th of September for the Catalan Grand Prix. And of course, Moto E goes racing on Saturday. So that's the 6th of September. Mark it in your calendars. Casadei's day indeed, doubling up race 1 and race 2. Second for Spinelli, who becomes the 11th different podium finisher in 2025. That's now more than half of the grid. Rather remarkable. Ferrari was 3rd in that one. 4th going to Balder. Garzo, your reigning champion, a weekend off the podium, but a solid 5th and a solid fight back, particularly in race 2. Our last point scorer today in race 2, Maria Herrera, adding 1 to her tally.
What a wonderful race. Thanks everybody for joining us here. Next up on JB Motorsports, it's going to be IndyCar and the first practice session. But what a race. Matteo Casadei now leads by 14 points in the standings. We'll see you next time out. Bye-bye.